Hello and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel we discuss all aspects of the Ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today we're going to be talking about the full supermoon in Scorpio, and this is occurring on the 26th or the 27th of April 2021, depending on where you are in the world. This is going to be a big one, you guys. I'm going to put out a couple disclaimers. We're going to be getting into some really deep, profound energies when we're working with the Scorpio-Taurus axis right now. And so we're going to get into all of those energies and the significance of this moon, and then we're going to get into the reading. So I will timestamp the reading below for those who aren't necessarily so interested in the astrology talk, but I definitely encourage you to stay tuned for the astrology talk, because these are some really, really potent energies that we're working with. And because this full moon is happening on the day that Pluto stations to begin its retrograde, we're going to be feeling these energies and working with these energies, I feel, for quite some time until Pluto stations direct again, which I believe, and I was going to look it up before I started this video. You guys know how I do this sometimes. I believe sometime in October. But I will fact check that for you, get the date for that. And I'll put that in the description box below when Pluto stations direct, along with the, whatever else I said I was going to do, the time stamping, along with the timestamp for the card reading. So yes, but we're going to be working with these energies for a while. And so it's a deep transformative energy when we're talking about Scorpio energy. And we're talking about the Scorpio-Taurus axis, which is an incredibly spiritual axis. And we're going to talk about that journey a little bit and what that looks like. But first, we're going to talk about this energy of Scorpio and Pluto, right? Pluto is significant because Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. So many would say the co-ruler, Mars being the original ruler, and Pluto being the ruler once it was discovered, right? So they kind of share rulership of Scorpio, but Scorpio has a lot of very Plutonic tendencies. And so with Pluto stationing retrograde during this time, that's really a big theme, is the Plutonic aspect of the Scorpio energy, right? Scorpio can be fiery. Scorpio is a water sign, but it can be a very feisty sign, right? It has a deep intensity to it. And sometimes that intensity is shown very outwardly with that Mars aspect. But a lot of times that intensity is a very internal process. It's very much what's going on underneath the surface. And that is the Plutonic aspect. That is the aspect of evolution, right? And when we have the moon opposing the sun, as always happens during a full moon, and the sun being in Taurus conjunct Uranus, as well as loosely conjunct Mercury and Venus, and let me look, I have my little chart handy here, and true black moon as well, which is a lot of energy. There's like essentially a stellium going on in Taurus right now that this moon is opposing. But when it's opposing, especially the sun is very most connected to Uranus out of all these planets right now. And that is a planet of evolution. So this is deep soul evolution. And our soul is evolving through getting more in touch with itself, with our understanding of who and what we are, with that deep emotional nature, right? That subconscious nature, that shadow nature, with Pluto beginning to move retrograde, which makes this process very much internal. And so it's an internal evolution that we are undergoing. And we can expect a lot of those shadow energies to come to the surface, a lot of those subconscious energies to come into our awareness, right? When we look at this opposition with the sun and all of these planets, we have almost all of our personal planets, right? Mars is off doing his thing, but we have Mercury and Venus lined up with the sun. So this is a lot. This is about our understanding of ourselves. And in the sign of Taurus, our understanding of ourselves, our understanding of our values, of what it is that we value, of how we value ourselves, how we express ourselves, right? And the things about our nature that are the most unique with this Uranus energy. Also with this true black moon energy, which is about repression and suppression, right? So how can we begin that process of unfurling that, of stepping out of this energy of repression, of our light, of who we truly are, and really learn how to be that and express that and live that in the world. That's a huge part of this energy that we're dealing with. And we're dealing with a deep understanding of ourselves when we look at Taurus and Scorpio, right? And a deep understanding of our world and our connection to and our place in the world. Scorpio rules or is ruled by the emotions, right? It's a water sign. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's a very physical, it's the most physical and earthy of all the earth signs. In fact, some people call the earth a co-ruler of Taurus in addition to Venus. Okay, so very much about the body, about the physical on a superficial level, right? But when we're looking at these two aspects of these signs, what we're looking at is that understanding of that connection between the emotional and the physical, and really connecting with our bodies as well as our emotions, our physical bodies and our emotional bodies, building a deep connection to these two aspects of ourself and merging these together, this understanding, this connection to these two major aspects of who and what we are. So that's big stuff, you guys. When we're looking at the Scorpio Taurus axis, we're also looking at my favorite definition of this axis. You see a lot of superficial definitions like the sex and food axis, the wealth axis, all of these different things. And yes, like any of those energies can be present that we're working through, right? And we're going to be looking at the shadow aspects of these energies most likely, right? So the shadow aspects around pleasure, the shadow aspects around intimacy, the shadow aspects around our sexuality, especially with that true black moon edition here, right? All of these different things, the different ways that we indulge, right? The different ways that we possibly distract, because ultimately this axis is about moving out of distraction and into being. My favorite definition, which is what I was trying to get to here, is the axis of being, because it's very much that energy of being fully present, being fully anchored in the now. That is what the Taurus energy at its core seeks to attain. It really is. I believe there's a lot of people who say that Buddha was born in the month of May and he was a Taurus. And I actually just read something, and I didn't fact check this, but it says something about him actually having attained enlightenment and then in the month of May and transitioned in the month of May, which is really interesting. I don't know if all of that is true. I'm fairly certain that he is said to have been born as a Taurus, but it is this energy of enlightenment that Taurus truly represents at its core, and that this Scorpio Taurus axis truly represents at its core. Being fully present in the body, being fully aware of the emotions and having them integrated, the deeper aspects of the self, bringing the shadow and the consciousness and merging those together, right? Merging it all into the light, into the awareness. It is this energy of being secure in the self, of really truly knowing the self. And so that is what we are. That is the journey that we are undertaking right now, is that journey of truly knowing ourselves. And so, as I said, I feel this ongoing, this is an eternal lifelong journey, right? That is perhaps the greatest journey of this life, is that process of knowing ourselves, of being present, of being at peace with ourselves, of being anchored and connected both with the earth and with our own life force and our own experience, being fully incarnated, like we talk about, right? That is so. But like this aspect of that journey, I feel ongoing. Like what we're going to see with this Pluto retrograde is going to be a lot of that unfurling of anything that prevents us from being fully present, right? Fully present with ourselves, fully present with others, right? Scorpio rules the 8th house. It is a sign that represents the others, of intimacy, of merging resources, of merging period, right? So with another. And so but what ultimately we understand, though, there is no other, right? But like, for lack of a better way of saying it, right? And Taurus is that energy that is the embodiment of the self. So merging the full embodied self with the other and coming into that state of oneness, that state of true intimacy and connection. And when we become truly intimate and we truly connect with another, that's when we begin to understand that there is no other. We begin to see ourselves and the oneness reflected in that experience with what we would call the other, right? And so it's a very deep soul journey that we are undertaking. And this soul journey, as we're looking at, right, all of these personal planets that are in this Taurus stellium that we're talking about here, it really is a journey deep into the self. Really understanding the self at a deeper level, understanding what makes us tick, understanding what holds us back from being our own authority, from finding that sense of peace and comfort and stillness within ourselves, from being able to be fully present, from being able to be fully embodied, right? From being able to truly connect intimately with another, from being able to express the truth of who we are without fear of criticism, without feeling the need to hold back, right? When we are fully free, when we fully set ourselves free, and we allow ourselves this freedom to be, what does that look like? And what unconsciously may be holding us back? And so those things may be revealed to us during this time. It's going to be with a supermoon, right? This is intensifying the energy, intensifying the emotion. So it's going to be a very visceral moon. It's going to be a very emotional moon. It's going to be a very psychic moon with this Scorpio energy, right? And we're really going to be seeing and feeling into a lot of different things. And it's going to be different for each of us, depending on what it is that we particularly have going on. What are our particular, I don't want to use the word issues, but what is it that we are seeking to heal within ourselves? What is being brought to light within ourselves, right? With this full moon, we are under that full light of the moon in shining at its brightest. And with this super moon, appearing very close to Earth, right? So really illuminating a lot of things for us. I definitely want to touch on some things that we don't always talk about when we talk about the full moons, which is that the full moon is about a lot of things. A lot of people look at it as a releasing energy, and it absolutely is, because everything becomes clear, and then we know what needs to be released, right? And we're definitely going to be feeling with that Scorpio energy a lot of releasing. It could be a lot of releasing from the physical body, a lot of releasing emotion from the physical body, purging emotions physically, right? With this water and this earth, this physical energy of Taurus. So we can absolutely expect that may be a thing that is going on. But when we're talking about releasing, we're talking about the full moon energy, we're also talking about the energy of harvest. So this is the energy of culmination. And so it's also a great time to practice gratitude for everything that has manifested in our lives, for everything that we do have, for the progress that we have made, to really honor that today as well. Honor all of the blessings. And we may have unexpected blessings, just like we may have unexpected realizations that come through, unexpected emotions that come up, unexpected situations that possibly are catalysts for these emotional reactions and detoxes. Where releases, that was the word I was looking for, releases and detoxes. We also may have unexpected blessings coming in, unexpected returns coming in from investments, from things that we've invested our time and our energy into, right? Scorpio and Taurus are signs that really appreciate investment of time and energy. They are fixed signs, right? They are fixed signs, and they are feminine signs. And so this is that intuitive energy. This is also that energy of security and stability. And so these are energies that we may be coming up as well that we're looking at. Security, stability, our need for control. Where is that showing up in our lives? Is it showing up in our finances? Is it showing up in our relationships? Is it showing up in multiple areas, right? We may be shown that as well. Where are we holding on when it's time to let go? So definitely, once again, that releasing energy is coming in strong. But we also want to honor our path thus far and really honor and appreciate what's showing up in our lives today. And if there are things that are showing up that are not not the things that we would wish. How is it what we are going to see some of what's underneath there that is creating and manifesting that, right? We manifest mainly from a subconscious level, a subconscious and a vibratory level. And our subconscious really dictates our vibration to a point as well. If you guys want to look into your subconscious and work on some of that stuff, please reach out to me. The Theta healing that I do is really powerful for that. And the Belvaspata can be really powerful for that too. So it's just, there's different ways to go about this. And shoot me an email. It's in the description box below. And we can talk about what's going on with you and maybe the best way to approach those energies for you. So we are going to pull some some Black Moon astrology cards, clear, to get started here. And just get an extra peek into the energies. We're going to do some general energies with these cards, and then we're going to maybe get into some more specific questions. I have a couple different kinds of things that I'm kind of intrigued about doing for these full moon readings that were kind of inspired by my live that I did on Intuitive Insights with my friend Kayla, the channel we started together last full moon, which was really fun. All right. So let's get some general energies here, some general guidance before we get more specific. Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, I got to go pick it up. It flipped upside down. Give me just a moment, guys. And it may not be accidental that I kicked over and spilled my water as I was walking around. So that spilling of water, that spilling of emotion, right? And so we have the Capricorn card that came out. I use. All right. And so this is, once again, Capricorn is a symbol of authority, right? So we're talking about this energy of authority. We're talking about also ambition, right? Capricorn is a very ambitious sign. It is also an earth energy. And this is coming out with Mercury, mind. So I use my mind. How do we use our minds? This is going to be something that is coming up for people, I think. How do you use your mind? How do you create with your mind? How is your emotional state created by what's going on in your mind? Some people may be really beginning to notice this and connect those dots where that's concerned and begin to realize how it is that they can use their mind in a more beneficial manner. And with this energy being so potent and so powerful, as always, we want to be very cognizant of how it is that we are using our minds, of our thoughts, of our words, because they are creating our reality. And then we have Mercury retrograde, reinvention. And we are gearing up for a Mercury retrograde here. That will be happening soon, and we will have a video for that when that does occur. But this is all about reinventing the ways that we use our minds, reinventing the ways that we see the world, just reinvention of the self, right? As we talked about with this Uranian energy, with this evolutionary energy. But that starts with our mind and the ways that we use our mind and the ways that we understand and work with our minds, right? Also, what can you see? Can you visualize yourself? Can you visualize the life that you want to live? Can you utilize your mind in that imaginative, creative context as well? And then we have the water element, sensing. So this is that deep, intuitive Scorpio energy here. That sensing. I feel like people are going to be receiving a lot of psychic impressions during this full moon. And so really allow yourself to sink deeply into those and pay attention to those. This is also about instinct. Scorpio is a sign of instinct. And yes, sometimes that instinct can get a little bit twisted depending on what's going on, because Scorpio is an energy that really internalizes things. It also holds on to energy sometimes, right? It's a fixed sign, kind of like Taurus. They have a lot of similar energies here. So when we're talking about one, a lot of times there's a lot of aspects of the other as well, right? And so this is where sometimes Scorpio gets that bad rap for being vengeful and things like that, is because it holds on to things. And the experiences in life can cause our expression of that energy to become very distrustful, bordering on paranoid sometimes. Remember, these are Plutonic energies. Pluto can definitely represent those, the obsessive, compulsive energies. These are some of the lower energies that we're working out of, right? So sometimes that can distort the instinct and the intuition. However, Scorpio at its core is very instinctively, they're instinctual and intuitive, and it just flows through them like a spark, right? It's not necessarily that gentle, slow, meditative feeling of intuition, although it can be, but a lot of times it's more like that. I'm thinking of Uranus right now as I'm saying that spark of instinctive intuition, right? And so really trust that instinctive intuition. Really trust your bodily intuition. Remember, we are really balancing out our relationship and connection to our bodies as well as our senses and our emotion. So really modeling that instinct right now. Wow, we got a lot of cards that are just flying today. Really interesting. And look what's on the bottom of the deck, Uranus. Let's see what else wanted to fly out here. We have the Leo card, I will. And so this is all about, this is about self-expression, right? This is about being in the spotlight. This is about confidence and courage. And so this is an area, right, that we're talking about that we are building up. I feel like for some people, it's like sensing the good fortune. This card represents good fortune as well in the deck, right? So sensing the good fortune that is coming your way and following your instincts, having the courage to follow your instincts, however your instincts are leading you, in order to step into this energy, to align with this timeline where this good fortune exists, right? Because we have everything already in another timeline, right? There is a version of ourselves that is experiencing every possible reality. And so it's not that we're changing this reality, it's that we're merging with the reality that we want to experience. And so coming into alignment with that by really following what our instincts are guiding us to do, right? And they may be guiding us to do things in different ways. Remember, we're reinventing so many aspects of who we are and our lives right now. And that's another aspect of this axis, right? It's like the transmutation. We're being asked to step out of our comfort zone. To step out of our comfort zone. And then we have part of fortune with Jupiter, abundance coming out. And the 12th house, escape, on the bottom of the deck. All right. And so this is the energies, right, with this Leo card, those energies that we are aligning with, that fortune, that fame, all of that positive timeline. And see the lightning bolt, just like we were talking about, that spark of lightning. So there's a lot of increase, right? There's a lot of blessings, and those blessings are coming through as we step more. Leo energy embodies at its highest vibration exactly who and what it is without apology, right? Leo steps into center stage of their own lives. This is us learning how to take center stage in our own lives, us learning how to own our light, us learning how to express ourselves, right? Leo is creative, dynamic expression. And so really doing that. And with this 12th house card, we just want to, let me get a little more information on the 12th house card. Why is that coming out? Okay, we got the Mars card coming out. I feel like this is telling us about possible stumbling blocks in our path. And then we see the earth element stability on the bottom. So we got the water and the earth here. Possible stumbling blocks in our path, right? Because the 12th house can be known as the house of the undoing. It's also the house of the unconscious, right? We're talking about revealing all that exists in our unconscious. And so as we are moving toward these blessings, we want to allow things to flow, right? We definitely want to take constructive action toward our goals, right? With this Leo card, I will, with this Mars card. But we want to make sure that we want to make sure that the ways that we are going about this, we're not trying to make things happen, right? We are in the way of like stepping into our power, but we're not trying to push things forward that don't want to move. We're going with the tide, not against it, right? We're not stepping on other people in order to get there. We're not in that I'm trying to use trying to use a benign word here for this energy, but we're not, we're flowing, we're relaxed with it. We're not, aggressive with it. Okay. And then we have the Libra eye balance and the Neptune sacrifice. And we're also not sacrificing too much of ourselves. We're finding that balance, right? This Mars card is the card of the self. And this Neptune card is very much that Piscean energy that is very much that energy of the collective, of the whole. So really balancing the needs of the self with the needs of the whole. Feeling that energy coming through. And balancing what we're willing to give, right? What we're willing to give of ourselves, and learning how to give of our energy in a balanced fashion. That's been something that we've been learning for a while. So we really want to pace ourselves as well. We want to pace ourselves. We don't want to move so quickly that fire burns out, I guess would be sort of a way to put that. We want to be cooperative with Libra and Neptune. These are both very cooperative energies, right? So we want to be cooperative with others, but we also want to be like very clear about what it is that we are wanting, what it is that we are desiring, what it is that we are trying to accomplish. But we want to be open to paying attention. Yeah, with these two cards together, very much paying attention to how our actions are affecting others as well. But not paying see, this is where it gets interesting. Not paying too much attention to this, because that's the energy that we're learning how to move out of, is paying so much attention to what other people feel and think that we ignore ourselves. So we it's this constant balancing of these extremes of energy here, and finding that solid center point in the middle. But we don't want to be sitting passively by either. We want to be actively engaged in our lives, but flow in that fluid state of movement. All right, I'm going to stop with all that right now. Let's see here. What do we want to? I want to talk about clear. Let's see, which deck do we want to use for this? All right, what energies are we bringing in? What energies are we bringing in? Clear. What energies are we bringing in? What are we celebrating? What is the harvest that we are experiencing during this full moon? What is the harvest that we are experiencing during this full moon? What energies are we calling in? Okay, so we have the Hermit here. And we have the Nine of Swords. Interesting. And so this is a lot of the energy, really, I guess, that encapsulates some of the potential of this full moon, the experience of it, right? This is that energy of going within, that internal journey, that journey of enlightenment, that journey of pulling back our energy. And this is that emotional intensity, right? This is that emotional intensity. So really, we are welcoming in and bringing in our ability to our awakening process. And as we are welcoming in this next phase of our spiritual journey, like there is definitely some sadness and some pain that we are purging, but we're also welcoming in a new perspective, a new experience, right? With this Hanged Man here, we are seeing things differently. It's like we go within, we really address what's going on underneath the surface, right? We go into that internal space. This is that space of being fully present, being very fully anchored in the moment, right? Being fully anchored in our emotions and our bodies, fully present with them. And there is possibly some sadness, some grief I'm feeling for some people that we are releasing, that we are getting in touch with and experiencing, some worries, some anxieties, some fears. But you notice there's all of these blackbirds, but there's this one white one here too, right? And then we see all of this light that we're exuding, right? This allows us, as we release all of this, we're able to step more deeply into our light. And it's like, you notice, it always looks like light language or like light codes that she's painting here with her fingers. And so it's like, look at the freedom. Look how relaxed she looks. She's like, this looks like aerial yoga or something like that she's doing. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that. I've always wanted to. But it's just like, she is totally at peace. Her perspective has been flipped quite literally upside down, right? But now she sees and understands so much more than she did before. Right? And then we have the Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck. And then we have the Sun. So this is bliss, this is joy, this is happiness. You see how this light, right? It went from this to this. Look how much it expanded. And so this is illumination, right? That's one thing that the Sun card can represent, illumination. This is really, truly connecting. This card very much, it is sometimes talked about as representing Leo energy, right? Because the Sun rules Leo. But it's also a lot of what we were talking about with that Taurian energy and its highest expression too. So receiving a lot. From the moonlight, like there's a lot of these, the first three cards felt very much like under the moonlight, under the stars, right? And then we see the Sun coming through with that download as well, with that illumination. So that's beautiful. So that's joy, that's bliss, that's everything. But this is more than anything else being anchored fully in the present, gratitude. We're bringing in gratitude. She feels intensely grateful in this picture. Like I'm definitely picking up that vibration of gratitude here, that vibration of, it's like our world going from gray to color, to technicolor. So I really like that. So let's get some more on the energies that we're releasing. Tell me about some of the energies, some of the things that we're releasing with this full moon. We're bringing in that new perspective. We're bringing in that illumination, right? We're bringing in that deeper connection. That deeper connection to ourselves, that ability to see and experience the world differently. And what are we releasing? For some people, what this is bringing in is like bringing in, like there may be painful situations, right, that help to shift that perspective for us. But we're also shifting our perspective around our pain. That's a big part of this. We're shifting our perspective around our pain. We're being grateful for what it taught us, for the gift that it provided us, and that's providing some of this illumination here. All right, what are we releasing with this full moon? All right, so we have the Two of Cups and we have the Six of Cups. So this is past soulmates, past love. We're releasing old karmic ties. We're closing out soul contracts. We're releasing any of us who have had this. And this is good timing as we're moving into Mercury retrograde, right? Which can be notorious for connecting with people from our past, connecting with exes, things like that. We're releasing the hold that the past has over us, especially when it comes to maybe people that we were hung up on, people that we couldn't move on from. We're finally able to give ourselves some closure and to move on from that. So that's a beautiful energy to be releasing. Yeah, we're releasing all of this tortured energy in the heart space, this indecision in the heart space, this inability. It's like we're getting clear on what actually exists within our heart space, of the truth within our heart space. We're clearing out the heart chakra, basically. And then we have the Queen of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles coming out. And so that is then allows us to be in this energy of what is it that we want to grow? What is it that we want to nurture? What is it that we want to create? Anything else here? Yeah. What is it that we want to create? And then we get the Empress, which is creation, right? So really beautiful. And the Empress would be another card that often represents Taurus energy. And you see she has the whole world. She's holding the whole world here. So this whole world that we are birthing or creating right now. And then, yeah, the Page of Wands, that youth, that innocence that's returning. So interesting energies. Okay, let's see what else do we want to do here. Let's get a couple Moonology cards. Guidance from the Moonology deck. We have Hold Your Vision, Fixed Moon. And fixed full moon and fixed signs is very good for this. And then balance spirituality and practicality. So this is that, right? The balancing the physical and the spiritual, balancing. And so this is something that this axis is really good at, right? Because there is a very deep spiritual energy to this axis of Scorpio and Taurus, as we were talking about. But there's also a very practical aspect to it. They are fixed signs. They are signs that really like to manifest in the physical world, to create that stability, to create that security. And so really looking at how we're doing that and who it is that we're wanting to do that with, I feel like is part of that energy as well. Like who's coming along for that ride? And really learning how to balance, learning that the spiritual existence and the physical, the earthly existence don't have to be separate. They can be one and the same. That's an energy that I'm feeling from this, even more than anything else. They can be one and the same. Our culture has separated the two, right? And so this is about unification. We are unifying opposites right now. Right? Opposites are two sides of the same coin, right? So we're seeing how those energies blend together and create something powerful. And then we have communication is key, new moon in Gemini. And so there may be things that need to be discussed. Let's get some more energy on this communication piece. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. Okay? So you may need to communicate what it is that you need, what it is that you desire, what it is that you're trying to do. And this is an energy. Scorpio and Taurus don't necessarily always, they kind of keep hold things close to the chest. So they don't necessarily, they don't talk about what they do what they do. Right? But you may need to talk about what you do a little bit with somebody. There may be some communication that needs to happen in order to bring about the plans that are needed to move forward. In order to create this practical plan, there may need to be some brainstorming. There may need to be some communication. There may be some people that need to know some of the stuff that you're doing for some reason, is sort of what I'm feeling, that need to be made aware. And then we have your commitment is being tested with luck is on your side. And so this is where the hold your vision comes in. It's like, don't give up on your dreams. Stay committed to your goals, right? This is a very committed energy with this fixed sign energy. Stay committed to your goals. Know that, like, even if you don't see it, your endeavors are blessed right now. There is luck on your side. And so this is just with this first quarter moon, this is the beginning. So for people who have initiated and started something, don't give up too soon. If you're experiencing bumps in the road, keep going, keep moving forward. Utilize this moon to help to show you what is existing in your consciousness that needs to be released in order to allow your manifestations to come more deeply into fruition. And then with meditate and contemplate, so we got two Pisces energy cards here, which is interesting, right? So really deep into that intuition. Meditate and contemplate. Take a lot of time for meditation during this full moon. It's going to be very helpful. And I want to also, I know we're jumping around a lot here, but I'm just feeling there's so many different energies to work with for this moon. Clear. I also want to look at what's going on in our shadow side, what's going on in our subconscious during this full moon. What is and perhaps throughout the Pluto retrograde, right? What is being revealed to us, or what needs to be addressed or looked at in our shadow, in our subconscious? And I just heard divine masculine, divine feminine, which is interesting. And so whatever, let's do it like that. Let's do it like that. Let's look at the feminine side of our essence. What is lurking in the feminine, the shadows of the feminine? our feminine side. And remember, we all have both of these energies, and so this is applicable to all of us. I don't know why if they're wanting me to do it that way. But what is in the subconscious of the feminine side of our essence? Okay, so we have chaos and we have understanding. And so there's a lot of chaotic energies in our feminine side right now. And there's a lot of like seeking to understand and make sense of the chaos. It's like our subconscious is sort of like trying to do that. And so I'm feeling like some people may be having interesting dreams right now that are sort of a way of our subconscious working things out and trying to understand. There's just a lot of, it's like a tornado, right? There's a tornado. So there's a lot going on in our feminine, in our feeling side, right? Even if we're not fully aware of it. And so this Scorpio full moon is really going to pull some of that to the surface, if that is going on, so that we can gain that understanding. We first have to be able to, we need to be able to consciously process it as well in order to understand it. And so that being brought to the surface for us. And I'm being drawn to also pull a card or two from this deck, which I don't use too often. This is the Dark Mirror. And so this is a strictly shadow deck here. And so let's see what else is lurking in the feminine subconscious. Basically, there's a whole storm brewing in the subconscious, in the shadow side of our feminine right now, that needs to be brought to light, that wants to come to the surface so that we can gain a better understanding of it. But that understanding card is gorgeous, isn't it? That's like a divine feminine image if I've ever seen it. All right, let's get some energy from this deck. Feminine side of our subconscious. And we have Colorless Angel coming out. So right away, I'm feeling this energy of not being seen, of not feeling seen. Let me look and just give the book that goes with this deck is kind of terrible in my opinion, but this is the energy of apathy as well. Yeah. So I'm feeling the energy of not feeling seen. And we're talking about that apathetic energy. And so that's where some of this, I think this chaos is. Perhaps there was so much chaos and so much confusion that in order to deal with it all, it's almost like the feminine side aspect of us had to disassociate. There's a sense of disassociation. And so it's really like reconnecting. Like we have to, all of that needs to be dredged up and we need to feel it. We need to experience it so that we can understand it. It's like we're coming to a point now where we may be able to understand some of that. And that's sort of like this energy, right? But we need to allow it to come to this. We have to allow ourselves to feel. We're being asked to allow ourselves to feel, to allow, right? The feminine is our feeling side. When the feminine side of our nature is apathetic, right? Which means we just don't care. We're completely detached. That energy, like I said, of disassociation. When the feminine side of our energy is in that place, it's really out of balance, because it is supposed to be that feeling. So really allowing that tornado of feeling to pass through us so that we can emerge out of it with this understanding, with this new perspective, right? All right, and then we have obsession on the bottom of the deck. So where are there also obsessive energies that are taking place? There may be obsessive energies and thought patterns taking place as well within the subconscious of the feminine. And some of those obsessions may be as a result of this seeking to understand, right? When we don't understand something, sometimes we can become, this is two of the ways that Scorpio energy can express, right? Either suppressing and repressing, or delving super, super deep into the pain, into the darkness, in order to seek that understanding, in order to seek that freedom and that illumination. But sometimes the Scorpio energy can get stuck in there. And so it's finding that balance of awareness, right? But when Scorpio energy really delves deep into something, they move from the energy of apathy into the energy of obsession. And then interestingly, we have revenge under that, which is also, we talked about that energy as well. But so we want to find that balance, right? To really allow that to come up so that we can gain those emotions, to come up so that we can gain the understanding of them. That's what we're being invited. That's what our feminine is being invited to do right now. Clear. All right, let's look at the masculine side of our essence. And let's look at what is going on in the subconscious and the shadow nature of the masculine, of our masculine side. This is our side that takes action, right? Our side that is our way of creating, our way of bringing our inspiration into fruition. Shadow energies of the masculine, that our masculine is dealing with right now, that are coming to the surface. All right, these kind of fell out. I'm not sure if I'm going to take them or not. The way they came out, yeah, I'm not going to take those. Let's get like more clear here. Like be very. These cards earlier were very clear about how they wanted to come out. Okay, so we have listening coming out. And so this is Scorpio energy too, very much, because this is the energy of seeing beyond the words to the actions. All right, looking at what's being said that is left unsaid, right? What can you perceive beyond what is being presented? What's underneath that, right? So that really is the shadow in a nutshell right there. And then we have strength. Let's get one more of these. And we have individuality. So in the subconscious of the masculine right now, it's like, I feel like the masculine energy is really working on, right, with this strength energy, really working on centering into his own empowerment, his own individuality, but also like trying to tune into and get in touch with the feminine side of his nature, because the feminine would be that listening side, right? The feminine would be the side that's perceiving, that's intuiting into like finding seeing those double meanings, right? Understanding what's actually going on underneath the surface of a situation with a person, right? Like what is being spoken, even though it's not being spoken, even though you can't hear it with the ears, right? And so he's really working on, I feel like the masculine is, he's working on becoming more perceptive. He's working on the different ways that his strength presents itself and how to call upon and utilize that strength. And also working on becoming himself, being open to be who he truly is, really stepping away from the different roles that have been assigned to him, and there's like a yearning within the masculine to be able to learn how to listen to himself as well, is what I'm feeling. He's learning how to listen to his intuition, to his instinct, to himself, and how to call upon that inner strength, right, that comes from being in tune with himself, and how to express the truth of who he is, right? How to express, yes, some aspects of his feminine nature, some of these softer aspects of his nature. But he's like, he doesn't want to do that and be perceived as being weak. So how do I do that in a way that still shows and demonstrates strength and doesn't make me feel weak? There's a fear of feeling weak. There's a fear of weakness, as well as a fear of full expression of his truth and of who he is. And I feel like a fear of being misinterpreted, a fear of being judged, a fear of being misinterpreted, or a fear of misinterpretation, like a fear that he's not seeing everything as it really is. He's like really, in some aspects, not able to fully trust his own judgment, or learning how to be able to trust his judgment. Let's get a card from the Dark Mirror deck as well for shadow energies, subconscious energies that the masculine side of our essence is dealing with right now. Any energies that want to come out here. Okay. And so we have revenge. Okay, so what was on the bottom of the deck for the feminine side of our essence? So he's working with that energy as well. The energy of wanting revenge for something, right? Somewhere where he feels somebody did him wrong, some situation, possibly, right, when we're looking at this listening, like somebody who didn't present on the inside the way they presented on the outside, somebody possibly who hurt that aspect of us. It's like our masculine side is really wanting, and it almost feels like, because this was on the bottom of the deck for the feminine, so it almost feels like the masculine side of our essence is wanting to exact revenge for the feminine side of our essence, and the way that the feminine was hurt. This is really interesting. Like our masculine energy wants to come forward with that show of strength and really support the feminine energy. Like, why is she in this energy of disassociation and apathy? What happened to her? Right? What caused this? What is causing this chaos? And how can our masculine side wants to come in and be the protector, right? Which is the essence of part of the interplay of these energies together. And so he really wants to be that protector and protect that aspect of us that was hurt, that aspect of us that felt betrayed, that aspect of us that is in this energy of chaos. And so that may be, as we are honest with ourselves about where it is that we are wanting revenge, why, right? What was hurt within us? That's what we want to look at. We want to go back to this energy. What caused this apathy? What caused this pain? What caused this hurt, right? And how can we heal that within ourselves instead of feeling the need to? There is sometimes a positive vibration of revenge, and that is when we just make ourselves better, right? That's the best revenge that we can possibly get, is by making ourselves better and really being successful and allowing ourselves to shine. And then we have Parasite, and we have Black Flower Fragrance coming out. And so with this Parasite energy, this is the energy of the subconscious, like subconsciously, in the shadow side, the masculine is dealing with issues of people who are leeching energy, right? People who are draining their energy, or ways where they're noticing that they are feeding off of other people's energy or draining other people's energy, right? So this could go either way. Noticing where this is playing out in their lives and noticing where other people are sort of like attaching to their light. As our light is growing, right, there are energies that will attach to that and feed off of that because they don't understand that they can get that from within. They can get that from source, right? And before people know how to do that, they feed off of any light source that they can. They do it unconsciously, right? It's a shadow thing. And so the masculine side of our essence may be unconsciously feeding off of others, or it may be being fed off of, and it may just have people in situations that are clinging to them that aren't for their highest good, that they're needing to have the strength to kind of shake off. And in those situations, that's where this listening card comes in. Really pay attention to that. I feel like there may be situations where things are not, like we said, things are not being presented as they are. They're not 100% above board. And so that's why it's really important to tune into that instinct, to listen and see what's going beyond what's being spoken, beyond what's being said. And so this is also energies of codependency. There's codependent energies, right? That's kind of actually what we've been talking about this whole time, right? Is that codependency. So where is that codependency an issue? And how can our masculine side move out of that energy of codependency, that energy of clinging on? This is also just the energy of clinging on to anything that is no longer serving. Right? Whether this is a belief system, a way of being, a person, a job, a situation, our own pain, right? Sometimes we cling on to our own pain because it feels like protection. And then we have We have the black flower fragrance. And so this is like the masculine just really wanting to revel in his darkness for a while. And that's where this revenge energy comes in, right? He's like, I want to just fully, in the masculine side of our nature, and this is that 12th house energy, right? I want to just fully revel in my darkness for a little while, in all of these darker impulses within my nature. Like, I just want to give into that energy. I feel like perhaps the masculine has been fighting that energy for a really long time. And there's a part of our masculine side that just wants to really fully, it's like, if I'm going to have these impulses, I might as well just indulge them 100%, right? Why keep fighting something that is in my nature, or feels as though it is in my nature? And if it's not going to be terribly terrible for us, that may be what allows us to release that energy, is by indulging in it, but only if it's safe to do so, right? If it's going to really suck us under, we want to be conscious of that. And we do have the addicted card on the bottom of the deck, right? So if it is an addiction, if it is something that really that swallows us whole, then that's not the best way to go about it. It's how can I fulfill that need, that desire, in a more aligned way that is more beneficial for me. That's sort of the energy that we want to look at with that. Okay? But it's like delving into the darkness. This is also an energy of the pity party and the victim mentality. So that may be some subconscious energies that the masculine is also sorting through, that masculine side of our nature, right? And when we're in that victim mentality, that's part of where revenge comes in, because revenge is a way that we see to take our power back, but we don't have to take our power back that way, right? Unless, like we said, our revenge is just being the best version of ourselves that we can be, right? But we never want to send out ill intent toward others, because then, of course, that energy ultimately just gets reflected back and returned back to us, right? So we want to tap into that energy of forgiveness. So really interesting energies coming out here, you guys. Super intense. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. It went in we took a lot of strange twists and turns here. I'm actually just going to lighten up the mood and the energy a little bit. Clear. We're going to pull a Secret Language of Light card to close here. Secret Language of Light. What guidance do the beings of light have for us? What closing guidance for this full moon in Scorpio? Closing guidance for this full moon in Scorpio. We have Soul Tree coming out, number 21. You're becoming more connected to nature. So this is all about that nature connection. Trees are great holders of wisdom and knowledge. Next time you are near a tree, try asking it for what it would like you to know and listen with an open heart for an inspired response. The same life force that animates you also flows through trees. We are all in this together. Now imagine the trees are physical manifestations of angels. Their divine essence flows deep into trees, as angels are far-reaching in their ability to help, care, and create. Trees, like angels, see and feel without judgment, always emitting an eternal stream of love. Allow angelic tree energy to flow through you, sending roots deep into the ground, forming a solid foundation that enables you to reach higher and deeper into the light and soul of you. From this vantage point, you can sculpt your ideas and dreams to be planted upon the earth for you to enjoy through your physical senses. So this is very Taurus energy, right? This is also that energy of being connected above and below, of connecting the body and the soul, right? Which is what we are working with this Scorpio-Taurus axis. So really connecting with going out in nature today, if you need and require healing, or during this full moon, could be very, very helpful and very cathartic. And really connecting with your heart space, connecting with the trees, connecting with your angels, creating that making sure that you have that stable, solid foundation from which to reach your branches upward and then connect with that divine energy. Just really feeling and working with that connection. And then we have variance on the bottom of the deck too. So this is just a reminder that everything in life The variance, the contrast is what gives our life color. It's what shows us what we want. It's what shows us what we don't want. It's so appreciating all the variances of your experience and what they have taught you as you are delving deep into these unconscious waters with this Scorpio energy here. Just really appreciating that. Appreciating the variance of life and all it has to offer. All that contrast has to teach us. And let's see if there's anything I want to read for you from this one. This is the energy that you also feel when you and your soul are seeing something differently, when we're out of alignment with our soul and we're seeing from a different perspective than our soul. And so this is about us beginning to realign with our soul essence. And noticing when we are out of alignment with our soul's essence, and then learning how to come more into resonance with that again, right? And so we're releasing a lot of those patterns, a lot of those behaviors that pull us out of alignment with our soul essence right now, so that we can come more deeply into alignment with it. And yeah, so I think with the soul tree coming out, that's just really emphasizing that if you are feeling off balance, if you are feeling off kilter during this full moon, really connect with nature, connect with the moon herself, connect with the trees, anything in any way that you can, connect with the water, right? With this, the earth and the water and the moon, and really just allow that to recharge you and allow that to bring through the guidance and the insight. If you like this video, there are links down below to donate. Like I said, my email is down below with the description of the different services I offer. If any of this stuff is coming up, we can really work through this. So reach out to me if you would like to do that. Drop a comment. Let me know how this full moon is feeling for you. I love you guys. I appreciate you very, very, very much. And we are, as we reach the full moon, we are then only a couple weeks away from that new moon. So the new moon manifesting ritual links are already up in the description box below if you guys want to check that out with us. That'll be, I believe it's the May 11th that we're doing that, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Love you. Appreciate you. Really just sink into the energy of this moon. Allow what needs to come up so that it can be, so that we can illuminate it and we can release ourselves and free ourselves from it. But also celebrate how far you've come.